The question then becomes, how do we modify existing budgetary practices in a manner that will expedite the release of emergency funding while still ensuring that there is great degree of transparency and accountability? Here to help me in that conversation is African Human Rights Commissioner Chris Nissen, who joins us for the conversation. You can, of course, weigh in as well, 072-110-5584. Tweet us at Newzroom405. Commissioner, good evening, and thank you very much for your time. How do we modify established budget practices within government and adopt new solutions? Because the challenge we have here is to expedite the emergency response, but because of our experience, we want to maintain the highest level of oversight and accountability.
Good evening to you and good evening to the viewers. Let me just say that today we had a meeting with the Premier of KZN and with his MECs and some of his top management, and we raised this issue and we've been given the assurance that everything will be made sure that nobody will be found with the hands in the cookie jar. But we understand all of these things, and I must say, and I raised this issue that, during the time of when this nation was deep in pain, severe pain and vulnerable, when the late President Nelson Mandela passed on, yet somebody found it fit to then steal from the funeral processes. And I'm glad the law has taken its course in that response, in that regard. However, we welcome, even if the Mr. John Nissen and them from the DA and everybody that says, we will keep a watchful eye on the process. We welcome all of those initiatives because we say we cannot, while the nation is so vulnerable today, that people find time even to steal from us. Hence, we even with the AG, and we've seen today, we've got a message that the AG's office is inviting people, particularly civil society, to be part of a process of a live audit in terms of the procurement processes and so on. So we welcome all of these initiatives. That's why the Forum for the Institution to Support Democracy, of which the AG, Public Protector, CRL, and all of us were part of it, to say that we will keep a watchful eye on all of these issues on the procurement, whilst we understand that there's an assessment of all the damages, that nothing has been procured except for the water tankers for now. But certainly, as the Human Rights Commission and all the Forum for Institutions to Support Democracy have pledged, all of us pledged that we will keep a hawk's eye on these processes, the procurement process, because we cannot allow anybody to steal during this time of vulnerability of the poor and the marginalized, and those that have been affected by the disaster in KZN.
Yeah. So within the context then of the fiscal rules in the country and whatever medium and long-term limitations as far as budget is concerned, are you as a forum able to access in real time, for example, the assessment process? What governs the assessment process? What governs what will be the planning assumptions around how much money is going to be used? And then further to that, are you able to in real time see those who are authorized to release these budgets when they release them?
Well, that will be our demand. That will be our demand, and that's the assurance we were given today by the Premier and his team of KZN. That will be our demand, but not only that, we will also go and the national departments to make sure the water and sanitation were also present today in our meeting. We will make sure that every department that has procured a service in order to do the recovery and to the rehabilitation and to the reconstruction, we will make sure that we will follow every cent and every work in order and will demand every information in real time so that we can keep a watchful eye on it, so that the nation this time is not being taken for a ride again.
Yeah. The President emphasizing, I guess, one part in that process, which is to ensure not only that money is not stolen, but also that government gets value for money. And is there a common understanding around all the stakeholders in the forum what value for money really is?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not only value for money, but also the rights of people that in this time, that their rights are being realized in terms of water, sanitation, and electricity, and of course, accommodation. The time has come, really the time has come in this country, that we really, as not only as the institutions, but also as ordinary citizens, must stand up and say, we can no longer allow that taxpayers' money is not used for the purpose and that of better the lives of our people, particularly the poor and the vulnerable, and then some people end up sitting in mansions and in luxury cars, and the poor still suffer. The Forum for Institution Support of Democracy is very clear that we will be watching and monitoring this, and with hawkish eyes, and whoever finds himself on the other side of it, the law must then take its course.
Yeah.
But we hope and we pray that nobody steals from this money.
And is there a way within, of course, the processes that the public can be taken along, some degree of transparency to the broader community of South Africa to be able to be taken along and seeing these processes?
Well, one of the partners today in our meeting, in our broader stakeholder meeting here in KZN, was Corruption Watch. And we've got so much confidence and faith that Corruption Watch will be, with all the expertise and the capacity, will come along and then, with the process, also then inform the broader community. And yes, the broader community need to be informed, and there must be report backs, particularly those communities where people lost their lives and where cemeteries were washed away and where houses were washed away, where people lost everything. People deserve to know and understand that this is not just simply a government coming around and say, we'll fix it, but also to have an accountability. That's why the Forum for Institutions for Democracy have asked all the CEOs, the accounting officers, to get together, which they will do in the next day or two, to put together what we call the accountability war room, so that we will, through that process, keep those government departments accountable for every cent that they spend, and through that we will report back to the communities.
There's pressure, of course, to respond quickly and to support households and the economy. Do you get a sense that there is that degree of emergency and urgency in how government is responding from that meeting today?
Yes, of course. And I must say to you and to the viewers of Newzroom that, certainly I've really, when we sat down with the Premier and his MECs and his senior management, we got the assurance, but not only an assurance, but we also left that meeting with the feeling there's a greater commitment, there's an understanding, and really there was a sincere approach to how to recover, restore, reconstruct, and do it in a very transparent way, in an accountable way. And for the Premier to take the lead in this, we are very, very, very excited about it. But at the same time, we are saying we'll watch with hawkish eyes.
Commissioner, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. The South African Human Rights Commissioner there, Chris Nissen, is part of that forum of stakeholders that President Cyril Ramaphosa was calling for to come on board in ensuring that no corruption and no looting will happen to the funds, saying that there is assurance that has been given